Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Critic Alex. This is mad annoying. I can't be the only player who leaves the game on the screen sometimes and has this happen, and I come back to it, or I sort of tab off because I'm using BlueStacks and this crap just starts. This is mad annoying. Is this on JP? Because this is mad annoying on global. I really wish that they would change that. Anyways, I don't want to. I obviously don't want to talk about Hawk farting. Although you could maybe use Hawk farting as an analogy for global nowadays, or today, specifically, especially. So the Green Lillia banner, which should have been or could have been Green Lillia for free with the slime collab. A lot of players are upset. A lot of posts on Reddit. A lot of videos on YouTube. And don't worry, I'm not gonna make a extremely one-sided video going one way or the other. To seem, very for or against the community's reaction, but I do want to respond to the community's reaction because I agree with a lot of the community, and I have some different opinions compared to parts of the community, but I just want to put more information out there, and I also want to try and offer a different mood, I guess, to the conversation, because so far I've seen the conversation from other YouTubers and I've seen the conversation from people in the community, and it seems to be hitting certain notes, but not necessarily all the notes. So I wanted to try something a little bit different. Okay, so what's the problem here? So just short little recap. Green Lillia came out as a step-up banner on global, but on JP, on the JP server, when she was originally released, which was months ago, not today, they got Green Lillia for free as a character, as a unit, and then they got, through the rest of the Slime collab event, which is happening at the same time here, we get Slime event, they being JP players, got 5 duplicate copies of her alt. And so, as coins, as Green Lillia coins. So players basically were given a choice to, JP players, were given a choice to either max out their Green Lillia's alt, or they could use the coin on her cosmetics. It's a bit of a misconception that you could use the platinum coins on anything, because as far as I understand it from JP, they were sort of like special altcoins. They weren't necessarily, you couldn't take those 5 altcoins and then buy yourself a red Gother. So if that affects the value for some players, if that affects their perception of the event for some players, I just want to let you know that it wasn't just straight up SSR coins or straight up platinum coins that could be used exactly as regular platinum coins are used. It's sort of like the way that the slime coins are used for the event for global, where you get copies of Rumaru or Benamaru or Milim, and you can only use them for specific things, right? They have they're denoted by a different icon. They're not the same as platinum coins, and you cannot exchange them one-to-one for platinum coins. I mean, you could if you wanted pendants, but that's about it. So yeah, it's like that, okay? But that's still a problem, right? That's still pretty bad, because you compare the difference between getting a character 6/6 and not getting a character at all, and that suddenly causes a huge rift. So I totally understand that. And if you want to be technical about it, if a global player with the worst luck possible wanted to get that same value that JP players got, they would have to spend at maximum 1,452 diamonds. So if you put into that perspective, right? Here's a free character, or give us up to 1,450 diamonds. Now, obviously, there's more value in that 1,450 diamonds, because you have the rewards up here, you have the guaranteed SSR here, and then you have all of the silver and gold coins. But still, to say that you get something for free in one version of the game, and then you have to pay diamonds in any amount over 100, right? Regardless of it being 200 or 1,000, it seems like a huge shaft. Absolutely. So I agree with that players are upset, and that juxtaposition, when you put those things side by side, it is really bad, yes. However, there is more to it. Now, when I say there is more to it, this is not my attempt to defend Netmarble. I'm not white knighting for Netmarble. I'm not a Netmarble spy. I'm not being paid by Netmarble. Yes, I'm part of the Star Creator program, but honestly, if they see this video and they don't like my opinions and they take it away from me, that's totally fine. I'm not worried about, or I'm not, in jeopardy of losing anything that I hold dear to me. I would rather be honest and give you guys my full opinion and try to be objective than to sort of pander to one group or pander to another group or pander to Netmarble. At the end of the day, I value my viewers more than I value Netmarble, but I don't think, and I shouldn't think, that by pulling on a banner or not, I'd be jeopardizing my viewership. But we'll get to that. Maybe some people will feel like they don't want to watch me anymore, which is okay. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want. So why is this maybe not as bad as it seems? It's not good, but why is it not maybe a catastrophe, or what is there to sort of further the conversation, right? Okay, we didn't get her for free, JP got her for free. That should be the end of the story, right? Well, let's look at it a little bit deeper. So first of all, is Green Lillia a god tier character, right? That JP players got a huge advantage for getting for free? No, right? On the flip side, JP players didn't get Benimaru for free. We did on global. Again, Benimaru is not a god tier unit, not a god tier character by any means. Never was, probably never will be unless he gets a rework of some crazy magnitude. Pop, pop. And so JP players weren't fussed that global players got Benimaru for free. Yes, JP players got one random GSSR for one of the 3 Slime Collab members, but again, that doesn't guarantee one particular member. They could have gotten Benimaru as well. They could have gotten someone else. They could have paid to get Rimuru, and then they could have gotten a Rimuru dupe, for example, right? So it's not necessarily better or worse, but it is absolutely 100% different. But is Lillia godly? No. If this was a regular step-up banner, let's say there was no JP version, let's say JP version never existed, and this was the only version of the game, and this step-up banner comes out, most content creators would give you the same spiel that they did, which is that this is probably not a good way to spend your diamonds if you're free to play. Obviously, it's still efficient to do the 31 for the first 2 steps if you really need gold and silver coins, but that goes for pretty much every step-up banner, right? Because if you need those coins for stamina pods, you need them for other things, then sure. We all said the same thing pretty much, I think, you know, unanimously. All YouTubers and content creators said the same thing about Blue Princess Liz, right? A lot of content creators went deep on the banner, pulling multiple times. Not a great unit, right? Not amazing unit. But we also said that, you know, if you have tons of diamonds and you want the character, sure, go ahead. If you don't, or if you're just playing for the meta, then you can skip Green Lillia, especially since her cosmetics are not tied to the character, that you can get them later when Blue Lillia comes out, so you don't have to worry about missing out on exclusive cosmetics like some of the Black Flame set items. And then, yeah, you know, you shouldn't be fussed about players who do a couple of pulls here to get some things. And I've seen some players saying that, you know, for example, right, some players in the community saying that anyone who pulls on this banner at all is helping Netmarble, and they're sort of like against the community. And I think those kinds of opinions are just so ridiculous, because objectively it's good value, right? 31 diamonds for 2 pulls. You have a chance of getting the character. You have a chance of getting other SSRs. You have a chance of getting, you know, Escanor, for crying out loud, right? For 31 diamonds, you get 20 tries, which is normally cost 60 diamonds. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, regardless of how this situation has been handled. I don't think Netmarble and the marketing team is going to go look at the stats and be like, oh, look at all these players that pulled 31 diamonds. We're geniuses. They love this strategy. Let's give them more step-up banners for free characters. I mean, I just don't think that's how they're going to look at things, right? It's not going to affect things in the end. So going for 31 diamonds is still efficient. No, it's not a worthwhile banner because the character is not god tier, but if you like the character for waifu material, or if you just have that collector's mentality, then I don't think there's anything wrong with pulling on the banner. Now, if you think that, you know, by supporting Netmarble, you're encouraging them to do this sort of thing, that's sort of where you can have differences of opinion. Some people believe that they're going to have their game plan, right? And regardless of, unless they see like a massive fluctuation, like unprecedented levels of players doing something or not doing something, most games just don't course correct on this small of a scale, update like within a couple days, within a week, right? They have a specific plan for the game. They've planned it out months in advance that we don't know. So we just have to sort of see what's coming. I mean, we can get mad for sure, but they want to see things through. All the developers that I've talked to, it's sort of the mentality that you have when you're designing games, because games in general have, you know, very loyal but also very demanding communities, but you sort of have to trust the process. It sounds corny, or it sounds like a basketball term or whatever, but it's like, you know, you plan something out for 6 months, sure, players get upset, or there's a hitch in the plan at 2 months or 3 months, but you ultimately have a 6 month plan. So you want to see that 6 month plan play out before you go back and start making changes. You can start making changes to the next 6 months for sure, but that first 6 months, you want to see how it plays out at the end of the day, right? Before you start making major changes. It's like, you know, you hire a bunch of players to play for you on a basketball team, and sure, one player starts underperforming in the first or second game, or there's locker room troubles, but you sort of give the team a little bit more time to gel before you start, you know, trading players or whatever, renegotiating, things like that. So that's sort of how I see it. And so what I ultimately think is a good idea is to see how the rest of this plays out. And I was actually going to end the video on this, but I'll talk about it now because it makes more sense. If you guys have been on Discord or been on, you know, other very popular 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross YouTuber channels, you've probably seen leaked images of global events to come, and it just strikes me as very weird. Strikes me as very weird that with the 100-day event coming and the characters that are supposedly featured for the 100-day events, Blue Lillia, Blue Demon Meliodas, it seems very strange to me that Netmarble would sit down at a meeting and say, you know what, we're gonna shaft global players, we're gonna F them over, right? Because, like, you know, most global players are smart enough to just look at two things, right? Even if they don't watch YouTube videos, it's not that hard for them to compare Global and JP. They can go back in the archives and they can find out this information. A quick Google search, right? You don't even have to be on YouTube. Just a quick Google search, right? 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross JP Green Lillia. And they'll find posts on Reddit and they'll find information and they'll see that she was free. So it really, you know, how stupid would they have to be, basically, right? And the rest of this game is amazing. So it seems unlikely that they're this stupid that they would shaft players for Green Lillia, and then they would also do the exact same things for Blue Lillia and Blue Demon Meliodas. It just doesn't really make sense. And now, of course, we can just chalk that up to them being super greedy, but they're not super greedy with everything in this game where they could be, right? And they brought a lot of things that don't actually make them money in the long term, or maybe, you know, make them money but lose the money as well, like allowing us to swap gear for free from day one on Global and things like that. So it's not like every single move that they've made for this game has been a greed fest. I know people vilify Netmarble, and I know it's going to seem like I'm white knighting for them, but in my experience playing Netmarble games, they're not perfect. They're definitely a greedy company. All mobile games are greedy companies, but they do listen. They listen, maybe not the best that they could, of course. They could always listen better and communicate with the community better. Absolutely, 100%. I'm always in agreement with that. But they're definitely better than some other games. You can definitely think of some other games, gacha or otherwise, where they're much worse. And for me, playing Marvel Future Fight for 5 years and then coming to this game and seeing how much quality of life, how many quality of life improvements are made so quickly and you know, brought to the game right away, it makes Marvel Future Fight look bad. And that's another Netmarble game, right? So even within the company, some of the studios, because they're not the same studio that makes the game, even though it's the same parent company, some studios just seem to be head and shoulders above other ones. So I don't really think it's like it's an accurate statement to just blanketly say Netmarble's super greedy and they're just going to do everything they can to scam us, because, you know, sometimes they do that and sometimes they don't. It seems like they have an inconsistent track record with scamming us or trying to rip us off. And on the other hand, they do listen decently well. And so I do think that if we wait, or my hope, my hope is that if we wait, the plan for this sort of strategy with Green Lillia step up will come to light, right? We will see the final plans that they have for this section of the game. You know, we got Escanor early, we got other characters, we had Red Gother and Green and Blue Gallon released at the same time. So obviously, you know, Global has gone differently than JP, but in some ways it's been better, right? So not everything that Global done has been better than JP, but some of the releases have been better. I'm sure all the Global players were super happy that we didn't have to wait like 5 months to get Green Escanor, right? I sure was happy. So there are some things that they're definitely doing better. Obviously, some of those things are motivated by money, right? They released Escanor earlier because they wanted money, sure. But it also makes players happier. They get to play with him, right? I mean, I don't think people can argue about that too much. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard talking to JP players, another thing I wanted to mention is that JP is not like a perfect server. I'm not trying to pit Global versus JP. But there's always this idea in life, not even just in video games, that the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Oh man, JP is so perfect. They're really not. If you talk to JP players, if you talk to JP YouTubers, you'll see that the game is great there, sure, and they have some things that we don't have here, absolutely. They have tons of characters we don't have here, obviously, first of all. But the game also has some problems. For example, I was shocked to learn that they created guild wars in Grand Cross, but it's only for the top 16 guilds. Just like they do in Marvel Future Fight. That blew my mind that they would make such a colossal mistake. So what that means is if they take that idea from JP and they give exactly what they got on JP to us, only the top 16 knighthoods will compete in the guild wars, and everyone else gets shafted and doesn't get anything, doesn't get that content. How stupid is that? It's mega stupid. So I'm definitely hoping that they do things differently on Global compared to JP when it comes to things like that. Now, could they have done Green Lillia differently and given her to us for free? Absolutely. At the same time, if they do something else, like give us Blue Lillia or Blue Demon Meliodas for free, I think a lot of people are going to feel better about that in the long run than about this. So I'm sort of applying the wait and see approach myself. I do agree that it is bizarre and it is, you know, at face value, a huge shaft to players to do this. 100%, I agree with that. However, I do think it's a little bit more nuanced than that, and I don't think it's just like a straight, they screwed up, they made a massive mistake, and this is garbage, and it needs to be changed immediately. I want to see how this plays out a little bit more before I jump to the conclusion that they are, you know, just doing this for just money. They're one of the biggest mobile gaming companies in the world to begin with. I don't think they're bleeding for money. So, I mean, there's a few limiting factors. And then the other thing is, a couple other things I wanted to mention was, one, the coin shop bond situation, I think really echoes and really reflects what's going on now, because when Green Bond was originally when he was originally released, there was no notice in the banner saying that he would be added to the coin shop. And global players compared that to JP, and they said that's not fair, that's BS. He was added to the coin shop on JP. Now, whether it was Netmarble trying to scam us, or whether it was a communications error or a mistranslation or something missing in the code or whatever, I don't know, right? You can chalk it up to whatever you think it is. But after some time, they clarified, I think in the very next banner, or maybe it happened with Merlin and then they clarified it with Bond. I can't remember, or it happened with Bond and then they clarified it later before Gother and Galland. They said these characters will be put in the coin shop, and since then we've had this sort of like cascading delay of characters being added as featured banners, and then a week after their banner goes away, they're added to the coin shop, and then 2 or 3 weeks after they're added to the coin shop, they get added as a limited time sale. So they're creating a new type of precedent. This is not necessarily exactly the same as JP, but it's just the way that the global team wants to do it. Is it better? Is it worse? That's really up to you to decide as a personal thing. But I think it really echoes this as well, and sort of, I think, again, like the Green Bond situation, waiting to see. I mean, obviously, give them your opinion. I'm not saying that you should be quiet and you should not share your opinion at all, for sure. But I'm just more of, I'm a little bit more tempered. I've been playing mobile games for a while, and so I try to take it easy and see what's going on, and sort of chill before I rage. The last thing I want to say here is just regarding other YouTubers who did pull for the character and got a lot of hate from their communities. Now, I can't tell anybody how to think or what to think, and I don't want to try to change anyone's opinion, but I do think it is a little bit of a shame to see content creators who love their communities and who want to make content for their communities and stuff. I'm not trying to excuse them pulling on the banners or whatever. Again, you can have your own opinion if you think it's good or bad, and you can have your own opinion about me, but I just think the hate for those particular players and those particular content creators is a bit too much. I don't think they deserve it, and I think, you know, it's an unfortunate byproduct of being a content creator on YouTube and having a community that so closely connects what you do in your videos to what Netmarble is doing for the game, right? If I were to just disappear tomorrow and my channel were to just disappear tomorrow or yesterday before the banner, would that have changed the banner? No. Right? So if you think about it that way, we you know, I think the influence we have is a bit inflated, right? We don't really have that much influence over the game. For the most part, we are just like free advertisers, right? Like, we make money through YouTube, but we are not, you know, I think, yeah, I think it's a little bit, you know, it's just a bit of a shame that they got so much flack for that. But anyways, those are just my opinions. I'm just one guy. You can feel free to disagree with me in the comments down below. I'd love to have a polite conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.